Theseus fighting the terrifying bull-headed monster Minotaur is probably one of the most famous stories from Greek mythology. But like many Greek mythology stories, this story also begins with many years before Theseus. In my last video about Theseus, which I will mention in the top right hand corner in the card or in the descriptions, we discussed about how Theseus was born and how he got to Athens to his father King Aegeus. There he would be the future king of Athens, but not before facing a major inconvenience. You see, when Theseus reached Athens to be the future king, his father Aegeus was already married to a woman named Medea, who was a sorceress or mage. She and Aegeus already had a son named Medes. When Theseus arrived at Athens in front of his father, he did not reveal his true identity, but as King Aegeus was a benevolent ruler, he offered Theseus with every possible hospitality. Medea, however, was not happy, because she recognized Theseus as Aegeus' son, as she is a sorceress. She did not want Theseus to stay, as this would make Theseus the king and not her son, Medes. So Medea plotted against Theseus and told Aegeus that such a stranger might only bring danger and ruin to their family. So she and Aegeus tried to poison Theseus' drink, but at the last moment when Theseus was about to drink, Aegeus recognized his sword and sandal that Theseus was wearing and knocked out the poisoned drink out of his hand. Thus father and son was reunited and Medea fled from Athens. Now Theseus is ready to be the king of Athens. But before that, it is worth mentioning that Athens was at conflict with the kingdom of Crete, as King Minos of Crete was angered with Aegeus. This is because when King Aegeus was young, King Minos' son Androgeus visited Athens for a contest. Androgeus managed to defeat Aegeus in every single contest during the Panathenaic Games, and out of jealousy, Aegeus killed Androgeus. Naturally, this angered King Minos of Crete, and he declared war on Athens. Ultimately, peace was offered, but only under a certain condition. The condition was that Athens would have to send 7 young men and 7 young women every 9 years to Crete to be fed to the terrifying monster Minotaur. But this cost of peace treaty was too much high, as the people of Athens had to sacrifice their very own children and send it to be the food of a savage monster. Every 9 years, young men and women would be fed to the monster, but now all need to be stopped. And Theseus came forward for it, and decided to go to Crete for handling the matter for himself. Of course, Aegeus did not want him to go, because he was his only son, but he was determined to go. Aegeus finally let his son go on a promise that Theseus made about getting back safely. Theseus said he would go to Crete with a black sail, and if he returns safely, he will replace it with a white sail that would let everybody know that he was victorious even from afar, even before reaching Athens. So Theseus decided to volunteer as one of the 7 young men and set sail on a black sail to the kingdom of Crete. There, he and the other prisoners was presented in front of King Minos, who would be sentenced to death for the meal of the dreadful monster Minotaur. In the royal court of Minos, the daughter of King Minos, Ariadne, was present. She and Theseus exchanged glimpses as Ariadne ended up falling in love with Theseus. In her heart, she was unable to accept the fact that Theseus would be sacrificed to the monster Minotaur, and went to his prison, where she talked to Theseus and expressed her love. Theseus said that he was here to end the dispute between Athens and Crete once and for all. He would fight the terrifying and fearsome monster Minotaur and kill it and end all problems. But Ariadne told Theseus that defeating the monster would not be enough, as the monster lives in an underground labyrinth which is built by a skilled architect Daedalus, and only he knows how to enter and escape the labyrinth and nobody else. So even if Theseus defeated the Minotaur, he wouldn't be able to get out of the labyrinth. Theseus was worried, but Ariadne proposed an idea where Ariadne would hold a bundle of wool at the outside of the labyrinth, and Theseus would hold the other end while going inside so that he can track back to the exit. The next day, Theseus entered the labyrinth of the Minotaur without fear and confronted the monster. It was a strong and vile monster with the head of a bull and a body of a man, and it is the wielder of huge strength. The roar of the monster is so loud that it would shake the very land of Crete. But the brave and strong son of Poseidon overpowered the terrifying monster and defeated it, and thus rescued all the other prisoners who came with him. He was thanked in Crete and was married to Ariadne and sailed home to Athens victoriously. Now here the story becomes contradictory. Some say that Theseus abandoned Ariadne in an island, where out of grief she killed herself, and another version said Ariadne was promised to the god Dionysus, so Theseus had to leave her on an island on the way, where Dionysus would come and take her. In the grieving heart of leaving his wife, Theseus forgot the promise he made to his father. As the promise was he had to put the white sail while returning to Athens, he forgot, and the black sail was on. The ship appeared in front of Athens with a black sail, where Theseus' father, King Aegeus, was waiting. He thought his son did not make it alive, and threw himself into the ocean out of his own grief, and ended his life. After returning to Athens, Theseus saw his father's dead body, and was heartbroken, and attributed the sea's name in the name of his father. Thus it is named the Aegean Sea after King Aegeus. Now Athens was freed from the servitude of Crete, and Theseus was crowned king. Of course he became king, but at the cost of leaving his lovely wife and the death of his own father.